All right, let's jump right in. We're about to explore a text that is, for so many of us, incredibly familiar, but we're going to look at it in a way I guarantee you've never considered before. We're going to peel back the layers of beautiful poetry to find a hidden structure of pure math. I mean, we all know this line, right? It's comforting, it feels like home, it has this profound sense of order and peace to it. But what if that feeling isn't just coming from the words themselves? What if, woven into the very DNA of this ancient psalm, there's a numerical blueprint, a kind of shepherd's code that proves the comfort it offers is anchored in something as universal and precise as mathematics? So, yeah, let's really dig into that idea. For the next few minutes, we're not just going to look at this as literature. We're going to treat it like a sophisticated mathematical design, something built with an intention that goes way beyond the surface. The whole idea here is that this isn't just a happy accident. The claim is that this psalm was intentionally structured with a kind of numerical precision, a hidden layer that actually reinforces its spiritual message. And to see it, well, we need a key. And that key has a name: Hebrew gematria. This is the ancient tool that's going to let us see the numbers that have been hiding in plain sight this whole time. You know, it's a pretty simple idea, but it has some really profound implications. See, in ancient Hebrew, they didn't have separate symbols for numbers like our 1, 2, and 3. The letters of the alphabet, the aleph-bet, they did double duty. And that means every single word, every phrase automatically has a numerical value baked right into it. So how does it work? It's really straightforward. Aleph, the first letter, is 1. Beth is 2, Gimel is 3, and you just go on from there. So if you want to find the value of a word, you just add up the values of its letters. Simple as that. Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting. For mystics like the Kabbalists, this isn't just a fun little number game. They believe that if two totally different words or phrases happen to add up to the exact same number, they're connected. They share a kind of spiritual essence. It creates this incredible hidden web of meaning all through the text. So, let's put this into practice. We're going to start right at the beginning and decode what you might call the divine signature of this entire psalm. The divine name, sometimes called the Tetragrammaton, is spelled YAH-WEH. Using our gematria key, we just assign the values. Yod is 10, He is 5, Vav is 6, and that last He is another 5. So when we add those up, we get 26. Now this is a huge deal. The number 26 becomes this mathematical signature for the divine. According to numerologists, it's not just a random number. It's like the spiritual DNA of the text, a fundamental pattern that shows up over and over again. And you can see how this code extends into really deep symbolism. Think about that famous line, "In the valley of the shadow of death." The rod and the staff that give comfort, they're not just tools. In Kabbalah, they represent two fundamental forces of the universe. The rod is discipline, severity. The staff is support, mercy. It's about a perfect cosmic balance. Now, let's zoom out a bit from individual words and look at the whole structure. Because it's not just the words that have a code. The entire psalm seems to have a mathematical center, a single pivot point for the whole narrative. So pay close attention to the language in the first half of the psalm. The author is talking about God. See that? It's in the third person. He makes me, he leads me. It's beautiful, but there's a little bit of distance there. And then, right in the middle, bam, everything changes. The perspective completely shifts. It's not he anymore, it's you. The author is now talking directly to God. This is the absolute emotional core of the entire psalm. And what's absolutely incredible is that in the original Hebrew text, which has exactly 57 words, this one phrase is the precise mathematical center. It's the structural hinge that the whole poem literally pivots on, both in its story and in its word count. All right, now we're going to zoom out even further. Because the suggestion here is that this code, this mathematical signature, isn't just in Psalm 23. It might be part of a much, much bigger design. So it turns out that the numerical values of key verses in the psalm add up to multiples of 37 and 73. So what, right? Well, in this system, those two prime numbers are basically the building blocks of creation. They are the exact same numbers that form the geometric patterns found in the gematria of the very first verse of the entire Bible, Genesis 1:1. The implication here is just staggering, that maybe the same architect used the same mathematical signature to code both the story of creation and the shepherd's song. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, this is pretty wild, but why? Why would anyone embed a spiritual text with a bunch of math? And that is a totally fair question. Well, the answer from this perspective is that math isn't some cold, separate thing. It's seen as the literal language of creation. It's the objective, unchanging truth that holds up our messy, emotional world. It's the ultimate layer of order beneath all the chaos. Okay, and this is a really, really important point we have to make. This entire beautiful mathematical structure, it only works in your original Hebrew. The second you translate these words into English or Spanish or any other language, the gematria vanishes. The numbers don't work anymore. The code is tied directly to the source language. So that leaves us with this one last, pretty profound thought to chew on. Whether you see this as divine design or just a mind-bending literary coincidence, it kind of forces you to ask, what if the universe itself and these ancient texts trying to make sense of it are written in a language of pattern and number that we are only just now, finally, beginning to read?